Our last speaker will be Mr. Toffa. He's a Germanist and PhD candidate currently residing in Bremen. He focused on religious vocabulary used by missionaries to evangelize and also influence the local people at that time. Mr. Toffa's hypothesis is languages have been, in colonial context, a way of psychological violence against African communities. In his presentation, he's going to apply these theses to paraphrasing the word of God, or as in the Ewe language, Mawu. Thank you, Mr. Toffa. Please welcome him.
Thank you to Berlin Postkolonial to invite me to this conference. Before objects are taken away, they have been imagined, they have been conceived, and they have been created. Creation is a mental thing, first of all, and we put word on them. And when someone changes the meaning of your word, so he profanes the sacred character of your things. And this will be the topic I will discuss today. This presentation tries to show aspect of communication in the time of the mission in West Africa. When I name West Africa, I'm speaking of Ghana, Togo, and Benin. It shows also how words, their writing, their reading. There are other countries in West Africa, but when I am, in my case, it is the countries who are considered are Togo, Ghana, and Benin. It shows also how their writing, their reading, and their speaking have impacted on local people in the colonial era. It shows again how choosing word for the local people, the missionaries profane their sacred object. The profane objects lose their values in eyes of the autochthone. My hypothesis are the word Mawu. I am focusing on a word Mawu, who is today used by Ewe people as a word for God. But when we go back into their history, into their tradition, that word have no meaning. And it has only a meaning in the Christian vocabulary. It is a word, so a noun, for another divine creature chosen in a singular form to name the concept of God. So when Ewe people speak this word, they are only confessing a Christian reality brought from Europe, Christianization. The use of Mawu as a word for God was also a way for the missionary to kill the God. And I quote here one of the missionary Westerman who say, the gods are dying. And with that, a very important aspect of the social and religious thoughts of the Ewe people was taken away. The Ewe were brought in the condition by speaking that standardized Ewe language to accept the Christian thoughts as normal life design. Destruction of cultural and religious realities. I will first of all present the word God in the history of the German language, and after that, the word Mawu and how they choose it. How does it mean for the Ewe? German language in the mission context, various meaning of the word gods. I will pronounce just one sentence here. The big reform the Christianity made in that time is to put the word God in his plural form in a singular form. Even in Germany, there were gods, but Christianization puts gods in God and put on them a moral appreciation, like when you now speak from gods, it is negative, and when it is God, it is positive. And for that, this moral appreciation of things bring the Ewe to consider their own religion as a bad thing. A word of our God is therefore an exercise to transform polytheism in monotheism. This transformation had been coupled with destruction of the sacred character of the object to whom the word referred. Words make it possible to attain individual and social conscience. From there, it was possible to profane the object because they lose their sacred value as they are classified in the bad things. According to the definition of God in the German conception, the Christian conception, God should be able to bring salvation. He's the one who should have created everything. He should control everybody and take care of all people. He should moralize. It means give norm to life. My question here is to know if our gods don't do that. And I will try now to understand the word Mawu in the text of the missionaries, reconstruction of the Ewe religious view. I will take time to explain something. When Westermann give a definition of the word Mau and say it is a proper name of the highest God in the believing of Ewe people, and give example as God is great. God is great. Mawenye Ga is Ewe language, and it means God is great. Miele Mau Sima, we are in the hand of God. Mau Akpau, it means God. That translation is false. It's Mau Akpau. It will be God will take care of you, but he put it like that way. So I choose it. I don't change it. God had created everything, and when I read all that, I just realize the same thing the Christian mean about God. And when it is like that, what are they doing in West Africa? Which kind of God they have brought? They have brought, please. And the second question I can ask here is to ask to know where is the proper name and where is the noun? Because he used the word God, the word Mau here, as a proper name of a god in the religious constellation of the Ewe, and at the same time as a noun in the language. And for the Ewe people who are considered to be polytheists, it is difficult to imagine that. And for that, I want to look for another missionary to see if he can give me the name of that Mau. Because in the Christian conception of God, there is a proper name of God. They call him Yahweh. I don't know. It is quite normal for the Ewe to have a proper name of their own God also. And another missionary is Spitz. He tried to give a definition of the word Mau. The name, not now, Mau says that God is the one who gives everything, and nothing is comparable to him. The stature of Mau is like the stature of human beings. He likes only white color. He dresses in white, he eats only white food, and he ties around the head a white chunk. And when I read this sentence, for me, as a native of Ewe, I see the way the Ewe worship one of our God, who is the God of thunder, that one. And I don't know if that is the highest God he mean, or it is, and he doesn't give the proper name of that God. And I am confused. I cannot say if this Mau is our proper God or the God they choose for us. That's why I want to show now, based on the text of the missionaries and hierarchy of the gods in the Ewe religious constellation. The Mau, used like that way, have no meaning for the Ewe. There are other Mau. It means there are, for instance, Mawussé, Soja, who is in charge of the rain, Mawussé, who is in charge of the money, to give money. And I can do this hierarchy. First of all, we can have the God who are in the heaven. They are Mawuo. It cannot be Mau. It should be Mawuo, as they are many. And Mawussé, Mawussoja are one of them. Mawussé, for instance, is in charge of destiny. And after that, it comes the God who we have, the Ewe have with themselves in their families, and those gods are very important. And they are also called Mawuo because they, from that you can understand the word Mau is just a noun to qualify what we cannot say. What is divine, what had a spiritual character, as not unbelievable, unconceivable. And at the third point, we have those small things the Ewe brought along with them over to go, and they are supposed to protect them. As I show it, one of my first name is Mawussé, Ohiniko Mawussé. And I cannot tell you now if that name is the name of my God, Mawussé, who is in charge of my destiny, or it is the Mawussé. It means Mau had heard my prayers. It is difficult. And that's why I think giving name to, I want to say, if they don't master the Ewe culture, they should not speak a lot about it. And changing meaning of words and putting them in the way you want it to be. Because when I read everything here, you can see the missionaries are forcing things to be in a way they want them to be. And that's why I say the word Mau without a proper name lose all meanings, refer to no conception, but deconsecrate and desacralize all the gods who belong to that corporation. Their representation were messed up. Some were destroyed. Others were taken away and brought in Germany as decoration objects. I use the word profanation and assume it. Profanation should be understood here as a violence form from the Christian norms of sacralization on the sacred object of the Ewe. The Mawuwo were a very holy corporation of gods. It was not allowed to say their name, Mau plus the proper name. They are adored, if I can say so, here, because the word adore, the missionaries have refused it, and they say you are not adoring. Nowadays, with that name, Mau, on all mouths, the new generation don't know the gods and the history of their tradition. I thank you.